And the world's leader in motorsports coverage is pleased to welcome you live to beautiful Sears Point International Raceway. Start of today's NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour Budweiser 200. Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Punch, and it is a beautiful but slightly breezy day here in Northern California, and we have a great crowd filing into this wonderful road course for exciting action. Now, today's show, the NASCAR Featherlight Tour, is just one of 9 NASCAR touring series that drivers can use as a stepping stone to make it into stock cars major leagues. We're talking about the NASCAR Winston Cup Tour. Joining me now is a driver who used 2 of those stepping stones, Brett Bodine, who drives the Quaker State Ford. And Brett used the NASCAR Modified Tour and the Busch Great National Series to launch your successful Winston Cup career. So what are these drivers feeling right now?
Well, there's no question. These guys are feeling a lot of pressure. Hey, national TV, a lot of cars got sponsorships they haven't had before. They want to do good in front of the TV audience and, of course, the car owners for the Winston Cup side watching in the pit area.
First-time sponsors, national television, all the Winston Cup owners watching, a lot of pressure, and boy, what a difficult place for these drivers to try to do well on. Take a look. It's a 2.52-mile road course. There are 12 turns, 6 left and 6 right, but that's not the total story. There are 2 right-handers, which are always trouble. Turn 7 and turn 11. That's where we've positioned our 2 championship analysts. Let's check in first in turn 7 with Ned Jarrett.
Well, Jerry, with all this sand around me, you might think that I'm standing out on the beach, but that's not the case. This sand was put here for a purpose. Now, fans, if you've been riding down the mountain and you see these runoff areas with deep sand for the truckers when they lose their brakes and they can run off there and get stopped, well, that sand was put here for these race cars in case they run off the course, and believe you me, a lot of them do. At this portion of the racetrack, it'll stop them to keep them from going up where I am and also where the crowd is. Now, this is an off-camber type of a turn. There's not much banking here. They come in here at a good rate of speed. They have to gear down to second coming in here, and it's one of the few places that you can pass on this racetrack. You might outbrake somebody coming into the turn, or either you might out-accelerate them going off the turn. But it is a challenging place on the racetrack, similar to where Benny Parsons is.
Ned Jarrett, I'm down in turn 11. A great place to pass. Try to get alongside a guy, get position on him coming in the corner, take the spot away. And Ernie Irvan, he's in the race. There's 2 Winston Cup drivers in the race today. Ken Schrader on the outside pole. Ernie Irvan started in 21st. He had the 6th fastest time. When he comes down in turn 11 for the first time, I expect he'll be probably 5 deep on the inside trying to get position. But on the inside, you don't want to try to pass on the outside going up in these tires here someplace. If Ernie makes it through the corners, all the guys make it through the corner. John Kernan, he's in the pits. He might be able to see him.
Hope to have a great view of it, Benny, here. And also flying, Brian Germoni will lead him to take the green flag. Now, this is a guy who 3 of the last 4 years has finished no higher than 4th in the Southwest Tour Series points. Well, he's got a new crew chief, Dana Stahl. They've got a new car for here. He is on the pole, and hopefully for him, the man to beat. But it's going to be a tough competitive day for him. Benny, as you mentioned, Ken Schrader is on the outside of row number 1, and starting right behind Germoni, the guy who won this race last year, Ron Hornaday Jr. Well, Benny talked about Ernie Irvan. Kyle Petty has more on him.
Well, I'm standing here in Ernie Irvan's pit. I'm talking to him on his crew chief's headset right now. Ernie's in the car. We're going to talk to him in a minute. He did qualify 21st, like they said, but he did have the 6th fastest time. He's got a brand new race car. These guys had to rent a motor. They had some motor trouble. That's why he's back here. I don't think he's going to be back here long. Ernie, you've run against a lot of these guys before. I know you're starting 21st and you're going to be headed to the front. So why are you running this race? You're leading the Winston Cup points. You could be sitting in a trailer watching satellite TV, watching us right now on TV. Why are you out there running today, man?
Well, probably, Kyle, because the opportunity came up to do it, and it's a lot of fun. Plus, I need all the road race experience I can get.
Well, that's from Ernie in the car right now, and let me tell you something. I've raced against him out here 2 or 3 times. He won't be in 21st for very long, Jerry.
Indeed he won't, Kyle Petty. Ernie Irvan is a Charger, so we're going to see exactly what he can do when he begins his charge from back in 21st spot. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineup and the green flag from Sears Point Raceway.
Practice runs are over. The Katana 600.
Don't miss Suzuki's truly moving, dealing days.
Today's Speed World coverage being brought to you by Quaker Steak, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. By Allied Signals Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. And by McDonald's, what you want is what you get at McDonald's today. Take a look at our Suzuki motorcycle starting grid as the field now files by. 42 strong, front row, Flying Brian. You heard John Kernan talk about him. Brian Germoni, the current point leader out here, leads him away alongside veteran Winston Cup campaigner Ken Schrader. Back in row 2, Ron Hornaday Jr., the man who's won this race last year and the current series champion, and road racing specialist Rudy Revak in the car number 48. Starting back in 5th spot inside row 3, Bob Lesnett won the 24 Hours of Daytona. He knows about road courses. He will start in 5th. Beside him, car number 21, Larry Park. Back in row 4, Dennis Dyer in the car number 4. And beside him, rookie driver. He's been very impressive. Watch for him to come in a hurry, Kenny Shepard. Back in row 5, Jim Engelbright. Won twice back in 1993 as in rookie efforts. And beside him, veteran Bob Lyon. Row 6 has the car 07 of Lance Hooper. And beside him, the car number 33, M.K. Kanke, who won a year ago. Back to row 7, Ken Peterson. He should be a force, always likes the Sonoma Road course. And the 1993 Rookie of the Year in the Featherlight Southwest Tour, Dale Williams. Back to row 8, Stephen Portingay. Won last year toward the end of the year for his first win on Southwest Tour competition. And a man who opened the season with the win at Phoenix, Brett Bell. Back to row 9, Randy Laskowski in the car number 72, and Dennis Benstock in the 82. And back in row 10, car number 32, Chris Shannon, and beside him, the 34 of Doug McCowan.
Row 11, number 8, Ernie Irvin, our Winston Cup guy back there after qualifying second round, and number 28, Ted Yamashiro.
That's Brett Bodine. Mike Koper, the 49ers kicker and former All-Pro, will start in row 12 in the car number 79, and Brian Brown in the car number 27. Back in row 13, Michael Alsop, rookie competitor, and the veteran Herschel McGriff. Can you believe it? He is 66 years and 5 months old. Ron Esau, Roy Testa. We have a very, very good starting lineup. If you look at the rest of our starting field, 42 strong. Extremely stout field here at Sears Point Raceway. Getting set for 200 kilometers. It's the Budweiser 200. That's 125 miles or 50 laps here at Sears Point. Glad to have you with us. Flying Brian Germoni, getting set to lead him down. Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, Kyle Petty, John Kernan, Brett Bodine, and yours truly, Jerry Punch, bringing you live road course racing NASCAR style from out here at Sears Point Raceway. Schrader makes a move up out of turn 1, up the top of the hill, turn 2. Up to turn 3, 3A. It will make the hard right hand and go downhill at turn 4.
Ron Hornaday all over the back of Kenny Schrader getting down into turn 4.
Hornaday, the past two years, has been the champion of the Featherlight Southwest Tour, but Schrader holds him off as they are single file. They head for the carousel. It's a hard 180 degrees left-hand turn. That is turn 6. And out of that carousel, they will head up the short chute underneath the bridge for Ned Jarrett.
And they take the inside groove here as much as they can, Jerry. Ken Schrader takes a little bit lower line off this turn than many of the others, but everybody getting through here pretty good right now. As we see a couple of cars side by side bang together a little bit, but they get straightened out and head on down towards turns 8, 9, and 10.
And they're going to head down toward turn 11, and Benny Parsons is standing by. Benny.
Thank you very much, Jerry Punch. We see the cars going through the S's now as they string down in a single file. They should start doubling up as they come towards me. Kenny Schrader, the leader, goes right by the 97 car of Hornaday. And where's Ernie? He's got to be 3 or 4 deep here someplace. He failed on me that time, guys.
Field now filing by, single filed, and Brett Bodine, as you watch the start of this race, you see Kenny Schrader now pulling away a little bit. At the start of a race on the road course, I mean, how careful do you have to be?
Well, I'll tell you, Jerry, I was impressed. These guys did a great job on that first lap. You know, they let everybody kind of get in line, get in position so they could get into the corners. Really, the most aggressive move I saw was Kenny Schrader trying to get the lead back away from our pole sitter.
Mac McGarry's car number 85 on pit road as they take the hood off that machine. McGarry out of Sacramento, California, started back in 30th spot. He's the first car on pit road, and now they put the hood back on, and they will put a jack beneath the car. And not exactly the most well-orchestrated pit stop, but McGarry still in the pits. Meanwhile, Schrader leads them down as they head underneath the Hoosier Bridge toward Ned Jarrett.
And he's built up a little bit of a lead, Jerry. He has about 15 car lengths coming into this turn. He has a beautiful line coming into this turn, accelerates off without slipping a bit. Other cars behind him trying to make up some time here, but they can't do it.
Kenny Schrader, the leader. Hornaday is second. Flying Brian Germoni holding on third, but there is a challenge behind Germoni. There's the car number 5, and behind him is the car number 48, Benny Parsons. That's Rudy Reback.
Rudy Reback in the Ron Hornaday Lee special, trying to take over third spot. Wouldn't that be something he went by Hornaday, the guy who owns the car? They come down the corner. Schultz cars going through the S's. Now this is turn 11 right in front of me. As the cars accelerate, there's Shepard in the 95 that Jerry Punch was talking about. And Jerry, they're coming back towards you.
They come out of turn 11 in front of Benny Parsons, come up here by pit road. That left-hand turn right there actually is turn 12. Then they go up the hill, back to turn 1. Up, that's turn 1A they're in now. They come back to the right hand, that's turn 2 with those ripple strips on the right side. Okay, back down to the left again, turn 3. Bob Lyon, the car under the Eagle Snacks, car number 44, in for an unscheduled pit stop. Bob Lyon won last year up at Tucson, Arizona, back in May of a year ago. And the car number 35 has had a little bit of contact out there, Brent.
Yeah, he's definitely got some damage to that left front, sitting right over here at turn 12. That's just before the start-finish line. That is Jeff Rogers out of Redding, California, who started back in 35th spot. And that car looks like it's pretty well used up. They're trying to move it down. He is down out of harm's way, but the safety crew now trying to move him back, further back on the drag strip portion of the course.
And Jerry, as they came through turn 7 this time, Ron Hornaday and Brian Germoni had moved in a little bit closer to Ken Schrader. In fact, Germoni is really putting the pressure on Hornaday as they go through the S's and head back down towards Benny Parsons. They're beginning to close in on Schrader a little bit now.
Yes, they are, Ned. We can see 15, 20 car lengths this time, about 10 car lengths. It looks like they're beating Schrader in the slowest part of the racetrack in the corners as they're coming down straight towards me now, towards turn 11. There we see Germoni trying to get position on Hornaday. Was not able to do it. And they accelerate off the corner, still in a single file. Oh, there's some agricultural racing, Brent.
Yeah, that's right up here in front of me, Benny. A car, Bob McGrew, apparently blew an engine. A lot of smoke came from that car as he headed in here, and he took her out into the grass, out of harm's way. I don't think there'll be a caution because he's totally out of the way here. Here he is now as he comes into turn 7. You see all that smoke and keeps it on the outside of the racetrack. Heads up driving by McGrew as he takes it out into the grass. He has it under control, pulls it up there and stops out of the way of everyone.
Bob McGrew, a semi-retired plumbing contractor, making his first Southwest Tour start, and it'll be a short one here as you watch Kenny Schrader lead Ron Hornaday Jr. And Flying Brian is starting to reel in Hornaday for that second spot as they have pulled away from the 4th place car back there, Rudy Reback. We're in the early laps at Sears Point Raceway. Glad to have you with us for the Budweiser 200. Back in a moment.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard oil filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
Every time the driving conditions change, the threats to your car's engine change. Threats that can shorten its life. Corrosion, oxidation, acids. That's why today's Quaker State has engineered intelligent oil. Oil that actually senses changes in the driving environment and adapts its own molecular structure instantly. So, if the temperature changes, so does Quaker State. If the traffic congestion changes, so does Quaker State. If the terrain or altitude changes, so does Quaker State. Quaker State virtually thinks for itself to protect your engine, whatever the conditions, so your engine lasts longer. Quaker State. The intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Now you can change to the intelligent oil and save $3.60 on a case of Quaker State. See store display for details.
Back at Sears Point Raceway, you can pretty much tell from that look right there that someone's had a bad day. The Precision Auto Body machine is not very precise right now. That's 1989 Rookie of the Year Randy Laskowski in the car number 72. And Randy has spun. In fact, you see they're holding the yellow flag. Benny, that's down near you.
That is between turn 10 and 11. I really don't know what happened. I looked up and saw the tires flying. We saw that fellow standing there holding the yellow flag. A standing yellow means that there's a full course caution. If he were waving the flag, it would mean that that's just the turn. But right now, it is a caution flag to get Randy Laskowski off the racetrack. I mean, he is sitting at a bad spot. Guys coming at him, what, Brad, 130, 40 miles an hour?
Yeah, that's a high gear section of the racetrack, Benny. There's no question it's awfully fast right there. It's very easy to run your left side tires off the edge of the racetrack as you exit turn 10, and that's very possibly what happened to Randy.
Randy's making his first start here in 1994. Runs a limited schedule on the Southwest Tour. Actually, it's a transmission repair shop, and he's going to need to do a little body work on that one as he has scattered some of those tires from the tire barrier down there out of turn 10. There's our field coming down behind the Ford pace car. Kenny Schrader, Hornaday, Germoni, Revac. Car number 74 is down there as well, and that is Bob Lesnett as they head down by where Laskowski's car has come to rest.
As these guys go by me, Jerry, I tell you, this Lesnett has been very, very impressive. The 74 car that's running about 5th or 6th right now, this guy is all over the back of these guys that I've heard of before. Bob, a newcomer to me, but he's doing a great job.
And Benny, just to the right of the screen there, you see that guy waving the green flag in front of you. People were saying, well, why aren't they going faster? Well, that's not for the race, folks. Benny, that green flag is for pit road.
That means that the pit road is open. There we see the NASCAR official waving the flag, telling the guys it is okay to pit. But no one is taking advantage of that right now. And I don't think anyone will unless they have some type of problem.
And Brett, speaking of pits, they have altered the pit configuration here as the field now files by what was the normal pit road to the right of the screen, but now to the left of that screen, there is an accessory pit road.
Well, the original pit area wasn't large enough for this big of a field of cars. Last year in the Winston Cup race, we had some cars actually pitting in the garage area. The racetrack got together with NASCAR and produced this 10-spot pit area on the opposite side of pit lane from the racetrack. It really makes it a lot easier, a lot more room for all the guys. It's a little bit more even for everybody when it comes time to make your pit stops.
But Brent, does that not give those that are pitting down on the inside an advantage? Because they can get to their pits quicker than having to go out around the wall and back into the regular pits.
Well, Ned, I brought that question up also, and it definitely would, but I believe NASCAR is going to hold those cars a certain number of seconds that they've already predetermined which their advantage would be by pitting on the infield there.
And some pit work taking place there for Brett Bell's Wonder Bar Ford Thunderbird. Brett, of course, who won the season opener for the Southwest Tour down back early in February at Phoenix International Raceway. We're under caution here, full course caution for the first time today due to an incident down in turn 10. Back with more from Sears Point after this.
They hate to be late. Traffic makes them mad. And waiting makes them furious. Sound familiar? Then drive through McDonald's for breakfast. It's fresh, hot, delicious, and served at top speed so you can get back in the race.
Mess with me.
From the jungles of Brazil comes the hardest natural wax known to man. Carnauba wax. Kit uses the finest carnauba wax to make any car finish look like new. Kit goes on fast, wipes off easy, gives all car finishes a deep, rich shine, and long-lasting carnauba wax protection, because it's a jungle out there. Discover the finest carnauba car wax, Kit.
In our business, there's no timeouts and there's no rest.
You're in control of a beast, if you will. You know, that's what a race car is.
You're driving at 230 miles per hour. The wind is hitting the top of your helmet and you cannot control your head movement. Everyone dreams about running over 200 miles per hour. Everybody.
That's where we derive the ultimate satisfaction.
Back in Sonoma, California, the Budweiser 200. We're in the early laps here, and you're looking at a car out there, the Channel Lock sponsored car number 79. That is a Chevrolet Lumina for Mike Kofer. And Mike Kofer is our diehard driver profile today. 6 career Featherlight starts, 1 win. He won 2 weeks ago, led wire to wire out of Stockton, California. Currently 3rd in the points as a rookie. He has spent the past 6 years with the 49ers. Remember that? 2 Super Bowls, 88, 89. 1989, he led the NFL in scoring and was an All-Pro. You got to wonder now, here's a guy who succeeds at a couple of sports, kicking for the 49ers for the past 6 years and winning in the NASCAR ranks. So, Mike, got to wonder, it's going to be football or stock car racing. How about it?
I feel like if I can take baby steps and make a lot of them, that I'll get further than if I try to take a lot of giant steps and get knocked back on my rear end. So we'll see what happens over the course of the year. You know, my football career may be a little up in the air right now, and racing's going pretty good this year. You know, of course, financially at this level, one's a lot better than the other, but we're having a lot of fun right now, and we'll just do the best we can.
And Mike Kofer is standing by with us. Mike's in the race car. We're going to talk with him. Mike, we just showed the fact that you're having a lot of fun with auto racing, but what about the football? Which decision will it be?
I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun right now. I'm not really thinking about football, but I'll sit down next week. Hopefully there's some inquiries from some teams out there. It doesn't look like I'll be back in San Francisco. I had a lot of fun out here, won some Super Bowls with some great players, and I think it may be time to move on.
I know you're not thinking about the Cowboys and possibly the Vikings, who have both expressed an interest, but what about this race today? You've moved from 23rd to 19th and are just sort of taking your time. Are you pretty comfortable with the car?
Yeah, the car feels pretty good right now. I just got this 8 car in front of me trying to latch onto it with a big fish hook, and hopefully he'll drag us through here.
Mike, best of luck to you.
Very much.
And, of course, he's talking about Ernie Irvan, and who better to follow through traffic here at a Sears Point road course than Ernie Irvan, the veteran Winston Cup campaigner. Mike Kofer, our diehard driver profile, and trying to make his way toward the front. We'll be back with more from Sears Point International Raceway after this. Stay with us.
If you want to know why most NASCAR teams use a Sears diehard battery, just ask a guy who didn't use a diehard. Diehard, the official battery of NASCAR. For more power when you need it most.
I just don't get it. I mean, I'm an upstanding young guy. Good looking, I think. But whenever I go to pick up a date and I'm introduced to her parents, they look at me like I'm some kind of weirdo. I mean, sometimes they insist on chaperoning us. I mean, I'm 26 for crying out loud. I just don't understand.
What's in a name? Everything. That's why there's Q-Lube Oil Change Centers, a Quaker State company. Now that's a name you can trust.
the Blue Jays versus the Red Sox tomorrow night on ESPN.
Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
In Winston Cup racing, we talk a lot about air pressure buildup in the tires and how critical that is to the way the car handles during a race. It has the tire specialist guessing what tire pressure to start with and what it's going to build up and where they want to run it. But in the Southwest Tour, they've got something called a bleeder valve. And what this simply does is set this one right here at 28 pounds. Once it builds up to 28 pounds, it begins releasing the air. That way, the air pressure remains constant in the tire.
And they're not allowed, I believe, in Winston Cup racing. Do you use bleeder valves?
No, we're not allowed to run them.
I didn't think they were allowed to. And if you get caught, you're not allowed to run them. So
Gary Nelson and his team of specialists are out checking on us all the time.
That's right. That's Brett Bodine, the Quaker State Ford driver for the Kenny Bernstein team, who is our guest in the booth today. And carrying an in-car camera, that is the car number 34, and that's a young man, Doug McCowan. 36-year-old driver and currently in 17th spot. He started way back in the field, has moved up a little bit, back from his starting position of 20th. Doug McCowan, he's the 1985 NASCAR Winston Racing Series national champion. He's from the Pacific Coast region, and he runs one of the 97 Winston Racing Series tracks for a number of years around the country, won the Pacific region, and now he's in the Southwest Tour. One of those stepping stones we talked about to get to Winston Cup. Well, they're cleaning up here down in turn 10, so they'll have a lap to go back to green, and we'll take a quick break and come back with live green flag racing from Sears Point.
Every time the driving conditions change, the threats to your car's engine change. Threats that can shorten its life. Corrosion, oxidation, acids. That's why today's Quaker State has engineered intelligent oil. Oil that actually senses changes in the driving environment and adapts its own molecular structure instantly. So, if the temperature changes, so does Quaker State. If the traffic congestion changes, so does Quaker State. If the terrain or altitude changes, so does Quaker State. Quaker State virtually thinks for itself to protect your engine, whatever the conditions, so your engine lasts longer. Quaker State. The intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Now you can change to the intelligent oil and save $3.60 on a case of Quaker State. See store display for details.
You about finished? How's it going? Great. We have a lot of good mechanics that shop at AutoZone. Well, you also have a lot of people who just want to save some money by doing a simple job themselves, like changing their oil or putting in new plugs. They just want to come in, get what they need, and get out. Well, at AutoZone, we have parts for just about every car made. So if you know what you want, great. But if you're not quite sure about something, no problem. We'll help. After all, that's what we're here for.
Don't miss Suzuki is truly moving, dealing days.
Back at Sears Point Raceway, you haven't missed a thing. They're just finishing the final caution lap. First full course caution of the day, the car number 72, Randy Laskowski, that spun and came to rest up in turn 10. And Benny Parsons, they're getting set for a restart right in front of you.
Right in front of me, the pace car is pulled away. There goes Schrader weaving back and forth, trying to clean his tires of debris. These are bias ply tires, not radials. They're back under green.
Kenny Schrader tries to lead him single file, but Brett Bodine, Hornaday, and a bunch of them are swarming after Schrader. Good run by the car number 95, Kenny Shepard. That's the DuPont's colored car.
Ron Hornaday looked on the inside of Kenny Schrader, but thought better of it. Hornaday got a lot of curving there on that turn 3.
Cars slipping and sliding. We understand the tires really go away in a hurry here.
Oh, they certainly do. And, you know, in the heat of the day is upon us here. The sun's hard on the racetrack, really making the track awful slick and greasy.
Field headed down to the carousel. They'll be approaching Ned Jarrett very shortly.
As they come out of turn 6, Gary, and head this way as we watch a few of the cars go through turn 5. Slater's built himself up a pretty good lead coming into this turn. He really got through the shortened curves, and here's a pass for second place. Germoni's trying to go on the outside of Hornaday, and he makes the pass. Great pass. Coming in, he got up on the outside, accelerated, and it stuck with him, and he's heading down through the S's in second place. Germoni might have the fastest car on the track. Before that caution came out, he was all over Hornaday, and they were gaining on Schrader. So let's see what he can do with Schrader as he comes towards you, Vinny.
Hey, Ned, you talked about at the very top of the show, passed on the outside going in turn 7. I said, Ned just woke up, didn't he? But I tell you what, you're right. Passed him on the outside. Great move by Germoni. There's Ernie Irvin trying to work his way forward. Here he is on the inside no, he's not. Ernie, come on, man, get down on the inside of him. There he is. He's on the inside of the 33 car. NK Yankee accelerates and takes another spot. I think Ernie's up to where, about 12th now, guys?
He sure is, Benny. He was 13th, and now he's in 12th spot. And we got to remember, folks, Ernie Irvin qualified this car without a single lap of practice. Qualified at 21st and turned the 6th best speed of the day. Brett, that's got to be tough on a road course.
Well, it certainly is, you know, but Ernie knows this track awfully well. Ernie's very familiar with this type of race car. He's got a lot of miles logged in this kind of a car. In Sears Point, you know, behind the pole in the Winston Cup race, he's very good at this racetrack.
And right now, we got a piece of metal down in the corner right in front of me, laying on the racetrack. Now, here goes an official running to pick this piece up.
I thought you was going to go get it, Benny.
No, I'm not. That's just a hose. That's just a rubber hose.
Now, had that been a sandwich, Benny would have been out there, but it was a hose, so he left it alone.
I thought it was a 6-foot-long hot dog, but I guess not. Here they are in turn 7 now. Schrader still leading as a couple of other cars. The car number 4, Dennis Dyer trying to make a pass there, but he couldn't quite do it. Headed back down through the S's. Schrader getting some pressure now.
And Hornaday, Ned, is dropping back. Schrader and Germoni both have pulled away from Hornaday, so he's got some problems. You ever see the 74 car? That's Lesnet, the fellow I talked about just a moment ago, that's so impressive here this afternoon. Closes up right on the back bumper of that blue number 48, Rudy Reback. Pretty excited back in about 3rd or 4th spot, guys.
Indeed it is, Benny Parsons. A road racing specialist running awful well up front. Rudy Reback in the car number 48. Now really putting pressure on Hornaday up out of turn 2. And Brady almost had him.
Yeah, he tried that inside move there. But, you know, that straightaway is so short. As you enter turn 3, you're in a bad position. So Rudy thought better of it. He's got a good jump off of 3. Oh, the lap car got in the way. And Hornaday took the inside line.
And right behind those two, the car number 74 making a move, Bob Lesnet, the man who won the 24 Hours of Daytona. Here's a car on pit road, the car number 89. That's Dale Williams, last year's Rookie of the Year. A 3-time winner on this tour a year ago as he now exits pit road.
And the leaders are heading into turn 7. Now Schrader has himself about a 20-car length lead over Germoni coming into this turn. But the real battle is for 3rd as Hornaday holds on, but the car number 48 of Rudy Reback is putting the pressure on him. One car, number 20, gets off course here a little bit, but he gets it back under control. That was Jim Engelbright. And the car number 85 going off the course here. He did not slide off the course. He just simply came up there and drove off, and he's going to wait for the traffic to go by, and then maybe he'll drive back home as they head down towards Benny Parsons.
And the leaders are already coming in turn 11. There we see the 2nd place car, and pole sitter, and the pole sitter is coming in the pits. John Kernan.
Benny, Brian Germoni, a heartbreaking development right now. The transmission has stuck in 4th gear, so Dana Stahl has called them in. They're going to put the car up on a jack, put the jack stands underneath it, try and get it fixed, and send him back out there. Now, he more than likely, depending on how long it takes him, should not lose a lap because it takes about 100 seconds, 102, 104 seconds to get here. Germoni pulls it into his pit stall. Speed limit on pit road, 35 miles an hour. They will go ahead and fill it up with fuel. Now they're inside, a crewman inside, jamming with the gear shift underneath, checking over the transmission, trying to get it fixed. And now they're telling him it looks terminal as Brian Germoni has shut the engine down on pit road.
Can you believe his luck here? The past 2 years, this young man has been running third with 5 laps to go. Last year, he cut a tire. The year before, he lost the engine on the car. He has had an incredible string of misfortune here. And now the car refires, and Johnny's going to pull away. Still on the lead lap, Brian Germoni. Here's Bob Lyons, Eagle Snack sponsored car number 44. He has spun, and he is now backing Bob. That's on the downhill portion of the course. He loops it around, does a very slow Joey Chitwood imitation, puts it back in gear and pulls away.
And he lost it there on the exit of turn 4. Turn 5 headed towards the carousel.
And here's trouble up in turn 7. The car number 98, Charlie Sayed, is on the tires, and the car number 93, which is being driven by Troy Beebe, is sideways. Now he gets his car going, but you see the yellow car on the right of your screen. I don't think he's going to get going by himself. There are some of the track workers down there. I don't know if they're permitted to help push him off of there or not, but anyway, there's a yellow flag in this area.
That is Charlie Saeed, the car number 98, and he is making his first start in 1994 in Brett Bodine, and this is a break for Brian Germoni.
Oh, no question about it, Jerry. Very lucky break. You know, he was down in the pits with a transmission problem. This full course yellow comes out, keeps him from going a lap down and giving up a lot of track position.
Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, I just talked with Dana Stahl, his crew chief, and he said that the linkage was bound up. They weren't sure if they got it fixed or not, so they're talking it over right now, Dana and Brian, as to whether they'll come back onto pit road and do some further repairs on that race car. But this is a big break for Germoni.
And not so good a break for Kenny Schrader, because he pulled away by more than 4 seconds on the second place car. He would like to have seen him go green for a while, but not to be.
There's our pole sitter, Brian Germoni, and he gets to catch up to the field there. Second caution flag today, lap 12. This is a 50-lap, 125-mile, 200-kilometer event here at Sears Point Raceway, and we're into the second caution of the day. Due to an incident right up in front of Ned Jarrett, Charlie Saeed, 48 years of age, and he owns a contracting and demolition company. He's done a little bit of demolishing there of that barrier as Ken Schrader now comes up. You see that pace car, the lights ablaze on that Ford Mustang, pulls out right in front of Schrader there at Ned Jarrett.
And Saeed is still there on those tires. His car just hung up. He can't get traction coming off of there, so he has now gone a lap down.
As you watch the field now coming by Ned and down the S's in turns 8 and 9, John Kernan, what's the update in the pits?
Well, Brian has radioed in and told his crew that the transmission is fixed. Apparently the problem, they fixed it on the last pit stop, so he is able to shift gears. He said, you know, this place has never really been good to me. It's been tough. But, you know, if it wasn't tough, it wouldn't be fun racing.
Indeed, it wouldn't be, but that young man would like to have a little more fun toward the front of the field than back where he is right now. We're under caution here at Sears Point International Raceway in Sonoma, California. Back with more of the Budweiser 200 after this.
If you really want to travel for less, bum a ride to Suzuki's Truly Moving Dealing Days, where you can get a great new Suzuki motorcycle for 0 down or low down with low monthly payments. So get to your Suzuki dealer any way you can.
When the job is tough, you need the best. And when you need the best, you reach for Channel Lock. For the power. The precision. For just plain counting on, there's only one. Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock tools. Look for this trademark. If you want to know why most NASCAR teams use a Sears Die-Hard battery, just ask a guy who didn't use a Die-Hard. Die-Hard, the official battery of NASCAR. For more power when you need it most.
Well, welcome back to Sonoma, California. Racing never changes. No matter what goes on, something can always go wrong at the least expected time, like it has on the 5-car. Ernie's car, as you can see, they're coming in, they're working on the carburetor. They're raising the floats, as Brett knows and as Benny knows. The way you sling the cars back left and right here, it starves the carburetor of fuel, and the thing really just runs out of gas. You'll pitch it to the left and it runs out of gas. You'll pitch it to the right and it runs out of gas, and it'll catch back up. He said he had made it to 12th or 13th. That's as far as he was going to get with it like that. So this caution was a big, big break for Ernie Irvin because he really feels like he's got a shot at winning this thing, Jerry.
Not trying to rush things, but it's one to go.
And we're listening to Ernie Irvin's radio. He's talking to Ron Peterson, the car owner. Seeing if Ernie says anything to the crew as he leaves now to see how the car is running. Now that they've adjusted those floats, as you heard Kyle Petty say.
Now Ernie Irvin's going to run hard to catch up to the field to see if that carburetor adjustment did work. And if it didn't, then he can call back in the figure out time to make some more adjustments.
It's turn 5 right now.
We'll check on Ernie Irvin and the rest of the field when we come back and get the green flag once again from the Budweiser 200 Featherlight Tour event at Sears Point. Back with more from beautiful Northern California.
Searching throughout the western United States for the best used car and truck deals, Michael Hole Motor Company Used Car Central brings them back to you.
Hi, I'm Bob Reed, and you can buy this 93 Mazda SE5 Extra Cab, which is nicely loaded, for just $10,987.
Hi, I'm Rick Brennan. This 1987 Nissan 300ZX is loaded. Drive it home today for just $79.87.
For Nevada's answers to the best used car and truck deals, come to Used Car Central, Michael Hole Motor Company in Carson City.
The biggest nickel jackpot ever hit was at Harrah's Reno. One woman hit 2 jackpots in 6 months at Harrah's Reno. Lake Tahoe's biggest jackpot was at Harrah's. Las Vegas' biggest jackpot was at Harrah's. And the world's biggest jackpot was at Harrah's Reno. So, where did you say you were playing?
The world's finest drivers in the world's fastest cars compete tomorrow morning at 9:20 Eastern in the Grand Prix of Monte Carlo. Formula One, the art of motor racing, only on ESPN.
They have just gone green here at Sears Point Raceway, lap 15 of 50. The caution flag lasting 12 laps, or 2 laps rather, as the field now side by side racing up in turns 2 and 3. That's the car number 77 of Ken Peterson out of Kentfield, California. And here's a car that was off the track a moment ago. That is Troy Beebe, who won the consolation race yesterday. Back running some Southwest Tour events, a 6-time winner in Southwest Tour. That's a Save Mart Supermarket sponsored car for Troy Beebe. Apparently has an engine problem, Brett.
Yeah, that looks like he's sitting in turn 3 there just before they go up the hill. Evidently lost the motor as they came over to him.
And here's what happened to Beebe. Take a look at this plume of smoke exiting from the back of that car after he led wire to wire yesterday in a 10-lap consolation event to get into the starting lineup. And his day is taking a premature end here at Sears Point.
There's Ken Schrader leading Ryan Hornaday back towards Benny Parsons down in turn 11.
Uh-oh, car's up there. That's you right in front of you, isn't it, Ned?
Yeah, we got the car number 42 that has spun off the track and got in that sand that we talked about. That's Kenny Hendrick. He's trying to get his car going again. Now, they can't let that car sit where it is because he's right. He's a sitting duck. Others that come in there too fast might spin where he is. He's trying to back up, but he can't back up. Looks like there might be something wrong with the rear end of that car. Something just isn't, or maybe it's the transmission. He can't get in the gear that he needs to go in.
Ned, it looked like when he drove inside of that car trying to make the pass in 7, he made contact with the left front, busted something in the front suspension. He can't steer it.
Yeah, you can see the wheels are turned to the right. Now he backs it across the track. He's going to try. He thinks he can steer it. Let's see if he can. Yeah, he's got it going to the right now. A little damage on the car, but he's going to head back down the track. So he's out of the way now.
Meanwhile, Kenny Schrader continuing to lead Ron Hornaday. Another car looping around the car number 10. That is Mark Perry out of Quartz Hill, California, who took a provisional spot as they go around him. Bob Lyon in the car number 44 is there. As is the car number 7. That is Roy Testa, Southwest Tour veteran. And the car number 8, that is Ernie Irvin, who made that pit stop a moment ago. Now, you got to wonder how his car is running after they made that float adjustment. Now rumbling up in turn 7. And here's what happened just a moment ago up in turn 2 with the car number 10. He's right in front of 4 cars, and they said one inside, one outside, and Ernie makes it on the inside in a pretty casual manner, Brett.
I'll tell you, that's what happens when you have a problem. You have to start way back in the field. You've got to dodge the bullets, and Ernie definitely dodged one right there.
And there's Ernie Irvin trying to dodge Roy Testa. And Kyle Petty, what's the report on Ernie Irvin?
Well, I tell you what, when these floats, when the thing starts messing, you don't really know whether it's the floats or whether it's the fuel mileage. He might have to run 10 or 12 laps before the thing begins to flutter again. Sometimes that's what you have to do. I just talked to the pit crew guys. They say they made too big of an adjustment. Now it won't run hardly at all. He's really having some trouble with it right now. So they're going to come back in and go halfway back off of the float adjustment they just made, and they think that'll solve their problem. So they need a caution right now. Like Brett said, track position, they're terrible. They get in accidents back here. They need a caution to be able to pass some of these guys, Jerry.
Indeed they do, but remember 2 years ago, what an impressive show Ernie Irvin put on here in the Save Mart Supermarket 300 Winston Cup event. He started on the outside front row with black flag for jumping the start, had to go to the back of the pack, made an unscheduled stop, went to the back of the pack again, came from the back of the field twice, and won the race.
We saw Ernie Irvin come up over turn 2 there. It was a right-hander, and the car just would not accelerate. Obviously, what Kyle said is happening, that they raised the floats too high. The car is dumping fuel over as it goes around the right-hand corners, and the car just won't accelerate.
Well, I mentioned, this is not the car Ernie was scheduled to drive here. This is the car owned by Ron Peterson, who blew his engine on Thursday, offered the car to Ernie. Ernie goes to Ken Schrader and borrows the motor. This is a borrowed engine from Kenny Schrader, and it's sort of putting the thing together in about 24 hours, so little wonder they're having some trouble as they're up there in front of Ed Jarrett.
Well, that's Ernie Irvin that just went through here. He's pretty far behind the leaders. They should be down in Benny Parsons' area.
They just went by, as a matter of fact, and Reback put some heavy pressure on Hornaday coming off turn 11, not able to make the pass, though.
Ron Hornaday's dropped back a little bit from Kenny Schrader. Schrader's definitely got a good handling race car. Gets off the corners well. Some of these guys might beat him down into the corner, out braking him, but he is really getting off the corners in great shape.
Tell you what, that 07 car of Hooper is running awfully well, starting back in the 11th, and he's 6th, 7th spot right now. And on a very difficult racetrack to pass, he is passing cars.
Lance Hooper, who set on the pole at Phoenix back early in February, back on February 6th for the Copper World Classic, certainly making a name for himself. Here's Kenny Schrader's AC Delco Chevrolet Lumina.
Brett Bodine talked about how he gets off the corner. Just came off the turn 6, and now he's heading up this short straightaway, makes a little bit of a left to get in here, and then gets down on the inside, brakes as he gets in here, slid the wheels a little bit. But watch how low he comes off of this turn. He really picks up on them there. About every other car in the field is going wide coming off of that turn, and they slip coming off there. When cars were close to him, he was picking up 2 to 3 car lengths every time coming off of that turn. Pay attention, Kyle and Brett. Might be something you want to look at tomorrow.
I've already noticed it, Ned. I think he's got a good line coming off of that turn 7.
And look at the pressure that Reback is putting on Hornaday. Reback in the blue number 48 Hornaday, the blue and white number car. Let's see if Reback's going to try to outbrake him coming down the corner. No, he's going to be out a car on the inside of him. Wow, the 74 car Pleasant tried to get inside of Reback. I thought I was looking to wrong pass.
As we mentioned a minute ago, the 07 is having a heck of a run. He is now being shown in 6th position, the car number 07. After starting this race, well, the 07 started back in the pack, and we mentioned he has had a heck of an effort. He started back in 11th position. Lance Hooper out of Palmdale, California, currently 6th. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, Jared, talking with Lance Hooper the other day, he really likes this road course. In fact, coming up in his driving career, he's won road course races at Willow Springs. He said it's somewhat similar to Sears Point. It's about 2.5 miles down around Edwards Air Force Base in Southern California. He really likes Sears Point, and he told me he thought he may have something to show to the guys today.
Well, John, a year ago, this man was running in 3rd spot on the final lap and got caught up in a shunt down in turn 11 where Benny Parsons is standing. On the final lap, he got booted back out of the top 10, but could have had a top 3 finish. Big crash. One car has flipped and gone heavy headlong into the barrier. Jim Englebright out of Fairfield, California has hit the barrier up there, and it is heavy impact as the crews now are running up there. That is at turn 6.
That's the entrance to the carousel, and I'll tell you, Jerry, that is a very treacherous place. Very fast, wide open 3rd gear, and you come up over the rise, and what happens is you tend to, if you get in there a little deep, you tend to lock the brakes up, and it wheel hops, and you get off the racetrack.
Jim Englebright, 32-year-old driver, owns his own towing service. That's the Roadrunner you see on his car, and that Chevrolet Lumina has...
What's that? Look at there.
There he is climbing out. Oh, that's great to see that. He come out and climbed out of the car, waved to the crowd, and the corner workers are there.
That's unbelievable. It looks like a groundhog coming out from under that car. Man, oh, man.
Well, it was certainly good to see him climb out from under there.
We saw the official there give the signal, bring the wrecker. Bring the wrecker. We got to get this thing turned over and get it out of here.
Boy, the irony, he owns his own towing service, and now he has to have a wrecker here come pick up what's left of his car. Now, the carousel is a very, very tough place on this racetrack. Right, Kyle Petty?
Yeah, it's tough for everybody. As you approach the carousel, you're running uphill and you go over a little knoll and you get on the brakes. A lot of times you get brake chatter or the wheel hop there, and it'll carry you out. I know the first year that I sat at home and listened to this thing on the radio when I had a broke leg, Michael Waltrip put one on his roof there. 2 or 3 other guys. Mark Martin put one on his roof right along in there. I know Alan Kowicki's put 1 or 2 on his roof there in his career. A lot of people have been on the roof. Dave Marcus, there's been 6 or 7 cars that have spun there this week. That's one of the toughest corners on the racetrack. Although it's a left-hand corner that we all should be used to, it's still one of the toughest corners on the racetrack and a place that you can get in trouble and get in trouble quick, Jerry.
And indeed, Jim Englebright will totally agree with that statement, Kyle Petty, because that car is absolutely pancaked. It is completely flat there. A lot of speculations now as to what some of these guys will do with pit stops. And why don't we check in with Ernie Irvin and see how that car is running. Ernie Irvin, this is Jerry Punch up at the ESPN Tower. Ernie, how's the car running now that they've made an adjustment?
Well, Jerry, we're going to have to come back in and adjust it a little more. We helped it in some ways, but we haven't helped it where we need to.
Ernie, I know you rode by and saw the car up in the carousel turn. That's a pretty difficult turn. I think that's car number 20. Very, very fortunate. Did you have any idea? Did you see it? What happened up there?
Well, no, I didn't get to see it, Jerry. I'm not real sure what's going on. I could just see the car upside down.
Well, Ernie, the good news is that Jim Englebright, the driver of that car, crawled out and walked away, and he's okay. So we wanted to pass along the good news to you. And I know you're going to get busy in a moment and head to pit road. So now what about pit stops? Are you going to make a pit stop now into the caution?
We put 2 on already. We'll probably do some front tires and go ahead and...
Okay, Ernie, we'll let him go. He's going to head down pit road. So Ernie Irvin, we were talking to him just a moment ago as he gets ready to get...
Hey, guys, what's nature's recipe? Is that food?
Huh? Of all people asking a question, you should know that answer.
No, I mean, look at that sponsor on that. I might have missed something here.
It's probably, Benny, I'm not sure what they do. You might want to check in their pits and see. It's probably all natural, though.
Oh. I'm not interested.
No biscuits or gravy in that pit at all.
Guys, are we getting close to the window when all of them might pit? They're going to have to make
I tell you what.
Stop. What about the rest of the field besides Ernie?
Hey, Ned, the 3rd place car just made a pit stop. Rudy Reback just went in the pits. He may be a strategy. Stop now, change a couple of tires, and go the rest of the way. You're right, Ned.
Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, Rudy Reback will come in. Kenny Schrader's crew and also Ron Hornaday Jr.'s crew said it was too early for them to pit. Reback, one of the teams that quite possibly could go about 31, 32 laps on fuel, and that's about what we've got left. They will change the rear tires. That's because they really spin these tires. These cars are lighter than Winston Cup cars. They'll spin the tires and wear them out first. Gasoline going in. They're getting the rear tires changed. They're now waiting. Oh, no one was waiting with a gas can there, so they're going to lose some precious time here, but because this is a road course, they won't lose a lap. So they get the second can of gasoline. The tires are changed. Reback waiting. It is now full, and Reback stalls the car as he starts to take off, so they're yelling, push him, push him. He finally refires it, and Reback heads down pit road.
We might explain that the reason they're only changing 2 tires because they have all the time in the world here under caution, with this course being over 2.5 miles long, is that the rules limit them to changing just 2 tires. You can change any 2. You can change rear tires or left sides or right sides, but work now going on. And once again, a break for Ernie Irvan as he gets to make that pit stop under the caution as they're down there working on that car. You heard Kyle Petty say a moment ago they were going to come back in. They had made the adjustment on the floats and gone too far, so they're going to back about half of that out. And now we'll see if Ernie Irvan can begin once again to make his way toward the front in the Nature's Recipe car number 8. 28 cars still on the lead lap of the 42, which originally started here. We're under caution for the 3rd time today here at the Sears Point International Raceway. You're riding along with car number 34. That is Doug McCown out of Prunedale, California. And that's not a spectator, folks. That's a driver who climbed out of a car a moment ago. I believe that's Jim Englebright who climbed out of a car. No, that's
Troy Beebe.
That's Troy Beebe. Driver of the car number 93. That's his car there. And Troy has a nice spot on the inside to watch the remainder of the Budweiser 200. Back with more after this.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard oil filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth, and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Take a new look at the Black & Decker Jigsaw. It's cut out for so many projects. It's one tool you'll use all around your house. Get the Jigsaw from Black & Decker.
The time has finally come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. Now you control the flow of paint. So the Wagner power roller can cut jobs in half. Smoothly and evenly, it can cover areas twice as fast. And cleanup is a snap. So you can finish one job and do another. Get your hands on a real value, because the value of Wagner keeps on rolling.
Hey, Ken, they say that during the playoffs, things get so intense, guys just start acting kind of weird. Is that true?
No, that's not true.
Hey, anyone see my stick?
Back at Sears Point Raceway, lap 22. 3rd caution flag of the day being completed, and once again, Kenny Schrader leads them as they are single file up out of turn 2.
And there we see Reback going by, just stopped, got the rear tires, passed the cars on the outside, so those new tires helping him. Wow, we saw Germoni, another car up on that curb.
That's where he got the nickname Flying Brian. He had the whole right side of the car off the ground up out of turn 3 as they work the inside part of the road course, and the challenge continues, and they're about to make their way down toward Ed Jarrett.
So they're headed into the turn 6 now. Schrader comes out of that turn and heads towards turn 7. Boy, I'll tell you, his car, as Brett pointed out earlier, is really working. He's already building himself up about a 10-car length lead. Hasn't even run 2/3 of a lap yet. Still taking a good turn through here. Here's a pass back in the field as car number 5, the pole sitter, makes another pass. And here's car number 10 having some problems. That's the car of Mark Perry. And he's 7 laps down already, and still problems continue for him. Benny, the leader should be coming towards you.
I see him now, Ned, coming straight at me, and you're right. Already 15, 20 car lengths. And down on the inside, Lesnar tries to get alongside Hornaday. Not able to make it. In the meantime, the 4 car, Dennis Dyer. I tell you what, every time these guys come in the corner and try to pass somebody, the guy behind them tries to pass them. So they're trying to be aggressive and conservative all at the same time. Uh-oh, there's a pass for a spot, guys. That was an attempt for a pass. Hooper got on the inside of Dyer.
That's Dyer off the course in the car number 4. Behind him, he's being shown the 07 car, and that's Lance Hooper. As they are in the 4th and 5th position. Here's the car number 77. He was making a heck of a charge a minute ago, Brett.
Yeah, he was. He had damage on the left side of the car, and I think the NASCAR officials might have made him come in and try to repair it. You can see the left side guys ripping off part of the fender, the door over there, but they also are changing the rear tires, taking advantage of this pit stop.
Well, that fender's been flapping for the last 10 or 15 laps, and I guess NASCAR finally said, wait a minute, it may come off.
And you're watching from the in-car camera, number 34. We're riding along with Doug McCown, the Prunedale, California native, as one car slides by Kenny Boyd, and the car number 626 is going by. He had just been passed by Ernie Irvin, and Doug just coming out of the carousel, heading up to turn 7.
As you can see the cars in front of Doug, you cannot get traction off that corner. The harder you try, the more you slip the tires. And, you know, we spoke of Kenny Schrader getting off the corner so well because it means so much to be able to get on the gas and accelerate that car off the corner. As you can see, a lot of the cars having trouble getting a hold of the racetrack.
Just had a pass for second place. Lesnar took over second. Going down turn 11, got by Hornaday. Now he's going to set his sight on Kenny Schrader.
Ron Hornaday back looking on the inside of Lesnar.
Hornaday tries to make it, but Lesnar slams the door at the top of the hill there in turn 2. Slides to the outside. Meanwhile, Schrader has pulled away.
And Ernie Irvin, guys, is off the pace and looks like the car is not running, or barely running. He does get it by the wall, by the accessory pits over there.
And a tough break for Ernie Irvin, who made a couple of stops on pit road. The Nature's Recipe car is pulled behind the accessory part of pit road. And the man who won there a couple of years ago here in the Winston Cup race, well, he's going to call it a day. Let's check in with Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm standing here with Jim Englebright. I saw him bring him into the care center. I saw him leave the care center, climb over the fence, walk through the grandstand, and now we're standing on top of the bridge overlooking the racetrack. They said you took a heck of a ride. What happened?
Well, the lap earlier, I kind of felt the car getting loose, and I radioed in saying I think I got one going down, so I was getting ready to come in, and I just leaned on a little too hard coming through 5, and when I crested up over 6, I was sideways, man. I just kind of gritted and went for the ride.
Hey, well, there it is. Ned Jarrett's given us a driving tip so far today, Brett. Here's another one. He said, don't go into the carousel that way, man.
Not what you want to do. I like to tell everybody hi, I'm okay.
You're watching up front there. You see Hornaday in 3rd spot and Hooper behind him. Dyer. One crash, heavy contact, a couple of cars.
That's the 21 car, makes the contact, and he keeps going. The 61, I'm sorry, I thought it was the 61 car.
Michael also out of Bakersville, California, Benny, and he had trouble down there. Another car right in front of you.
Oh, yeah, we got cars spinning all around here. We got 2 cars spun out. We got a quarter panel that's sticking straight up in the air. We got tires that's every place. And let's see what happens here. There we see the 61 car off the track and head for the tires. He spins, goes around. Hey, this guy hasn't hit a thing yet. You talk about Joey Chitwood, he could go to work for him in a minute.
I tell you, what a heck of a shot. I mean, he was headed right for the concrete wall in the tire barrier.
And there's the The 82 car, we see the back sticking up there where he made contact with some tires. It's amazing how much damage those tires did. As now we see Hooper has taken over that third spot from Hornaday. Then what this 07 car is going someplace.
Dennis Dyer tried to make a pass coming into turn 7, Benny, but he couldn't quite do it. A good race from second, third, and fourth on back. Here's car number 28 doing some racing off track.
And then he is minus a lot of the body work. That's fiberglass and Kevlar on the side, mostly fiberglass on the right side of that Ted Yamashiro's car. That's a Ford, or was a Ford Thunderbird.
He already was missing the quarter panel before he got in trouble here. That's in the carousel. Just got wide going in there and lost the back end of the car and it spun around. Very fortunate not to hit anything. That's amazing to lose a car right there and not hit the tire barrier.
And he's back on the course, running once again, but the car just flapping in the breeze back there. Got a nice little ventilation in the right rear of the car.
Got a little more spoiler on that right rear than he might need. That sheet metal sticking out there, fiberglass.
Here's Brian Germoni, our pole sitter, and unbelievably, he is back up to 8th position. Flying Brian always puts on a show here. He made an unscheduled pit stop early on. He had problems on the car. He has worked his way back toward the front. He's now working on the car number 33, trying to make a pass. M.K. Kanke out of Granada Hills, California.
Right there in the carousel, I believe I saw Dennis Dyer get by Ron Hornaday. They're headed towards you up there in turn 7.
Yeah, the car number, well, Lesnett, of course, is still running second, but yes, Dyer did get by Hornaday. He's dropped back to, what, 5th and 6th place now. Schrader has built himself up a good lead now. While they're back there racing for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and right on back through 6th and 7th, he's just running his own line and pulling away. Benny, they're headed down towards you. Did all those cars that spun out down there a while ago, did they get going again, or were they out of harm's way, Benny?
They're out of harm's way. The 82 car is still sitting there. As a matter of fact, Schrader goes by right now, so we can see the Hornaday just how far behind Schrader he is. As he enters the corner, Schrader's almost at the start-finish line. There he goes. And there comes the 2nd, 3rd place car.
And the battle back there is Brian Germoni in the car number 5. Moves in on Kenny Shepard and goes around Kenny Shepard and takes a spot away. They are side by side out of turn 12. Germoni on the outside. Kenny Shepard is in the DuPont colored car. And they are battling for 6th and 7th position. Flying Brian might be able to get 6th up there, Brett.
I'll tell you, Brian tried him on the outside on the front straightaway, and he had to back off. There's just no way he could go on the outside into turn 1. He's really working him hard, though. He's got an awfully fast race car. I'll tell you, he's going to work his way back to the front fine.
Kenny Schrader, our leader, but battles all over the racetrack here at Sears Point International Raceway in our NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour Budweiser 200. Back in a moment.
Set sail for evening dining excitement at the all-new Seafood Grotto at the Depot. The Carson Depot's all-new 55-item Seafood Grotto menu features creative appetizers and entrees, including a bountiful selection of the freshest seafood specialties. Great lunches are served Monday through Friday, or meet your friends in the sports bar for a mug of your favorite handcrafted beer, brewed right on the premises. Welcome aboard the Seafood Grotto at the Depot. The Carson Depot, 111 East Telegraph, Carson City.
Championship tennis. Played with passion. On the red clay of Paris. The 1994 French Open on USA, beginning Monday, May 23rd at 3.
Sports Center highlight goes like this. He hits a monster slap shot, but I catch it behind my back, Frisbee style. And everyone's so stunned, I start skating. My coach is yelling, go. Bob leaves giving me directions, but I'm the amazing skating goalie. And I score the winning goal. Wow. Which gets me a dance with Ty Babylonia. Yeah, that's my Sports Center highlight.
Pit stops taking place right now. Our second place competitor, Bob Lesnet, is on pit road as they are changing tires there, and they are holding him apparently for too fast on pit road. After a great run early on in second position behind Kenny Schrader, the road racing ace is now being held an additional 15 seconds, and now they let him go for too fast on pit road.
And he did not get lapped. Schrader has not been back by. He did not get lapped, and he's on the racetrack with 4 fresh tires. So he needs a caution right now. As we see Lesnet going to turn 1, head up the hill. I still haven't seen Schrader, so here comes Kenny right now. There's a piece of debris on the racetrack. That might be the caution flag that Lesnet's hoping for.
Looks like a piece of a universal joint, Brett.
And the leader's in the pits. The leader, Kenny Schrader, is in for the pits.
Schrader making his way down pit road. These guys knew that they had to stop just after halfway, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. But they will not go down a lap. If they catch a caution, they're back on the racetrack with 4 fresh tires. This is a strategy that we've seen used in Winston Cup racing. Go ahead and pit on the yellow, on the green, and when yellow comes out, you gain your track position right back.
Kyle Petty.
Yeah, we're here in Kenny Schrader's pit. Everything seems to be a normal pit stop for him. He's changing rear tires. They're going to change rear tires. They've had some trouble with the left rear. With the gun, they had to go back over the wall, so it's going to be a little bit longer stop than what they anticipated. But as you said, the other guy got held on pit road. They thought that the car would wear out the rear tires more than anything else. Schrader's waving at me. He's having a big time out here today, guys.
And Kenny Shepard is also in right beside him, Kyle Petty, as they are changing tires on that car. And apparently the caution flag is on the speedway. The 1st and 5th place cars have just pitted. They dropped the Kenny Shepard car off the jacks. And here is Doug McCallum coming also in as he makes his way very, very slowly down toward pit road. Former Pacific Coast Winston Racing Series champion, and apparently he has had an engine problem. Doug McCallum in the car number 34. Brundale, California driver in Chevrolet Lumina. And comes very slowly, and the crew will take off the hood and take a look at the power plant. And it's probably the day is over for this young man. Caution once again here at Sears Point Raceway.
And Jerry, normally we would say what a tough break for those that just made the green flag pit stops and the caution come out. But no, it's a good break for those drivers now, as Brett Bodine pointed out a moment ago. The others will come in during this caution that had not stopped under green, and they're going to have to go behind those that had made their pit stops.
Here's the car number 27. And here's why the caution was out. Look on the racetrack. That is one of the reasons a piece of debris on the racetrack looks like part of a universal joint we saw a moment ago up in one of the turns and up in turn 2. Now watch the car number 27, the red car here in this replay. Watch from beneath the car. You see it bouncing out on the racetrack? That's where it came from, out of the car number 27. And folks, that is excellent camera work. Our Emmy Award-winning remote crew, and that is what I call getting a great camera shot. Great eyes in the tape room, guys. Congratulations, and that's why you win 3 Emmy Awards this year.
That's a yoke. That is the yoke off of a gear. A rear gear has broken off. The pinion has broken, and that's the rear yoke laying on the racetrack.
And that's why the 27 car's parked down there in turn 3, because he has no way to drive the rear wheels.
All right, the yoke's on him. There he is. He climbs up there and sits down with Troy Beebe. So the driver of the car number 27. That's Brian Brown, by the way, the Bakersfield, California driver. That was his Oldsmobile that lost that yoke that a moment ago. And the cars are parked there, and the drivers are going to
nice little scenic overlook there.
Yes. Nice little relaxing picnic in the afternoon as they watch the remaining laps of the Budweiser 200. Back with more from Sears Point after this.
One of the guys found one new burger that eats like 2. Introducing the tasty new Mega Double Cheese from Burger King. 1 sandwich with 2 burgers for 1/3 pound of flame-broiled taste. It's 50% bigger than our double cheeseburger used to be. And at the everyday price of just $1.99, since the burger got bigger, the value did too. The new Mega Double Cheese, just $1.99 every day at Burger King. We may not be the world's #1 fast food place. It just tastes that way.
clean machine from Coleman Powermate does such a great job cleaning cars and decks and grills, you may find yourself testing its power on all sorts of things. Ooh. The Clean Machine from Coleman Powermate.
Back at Sears Point Raceway, we would expect to see some more cars make an entry on the pit road. Benny, how about it?
Yeah, here comes Hooper. He's coming in the pits. Hornaday's coming in. I guess everybody that hasn't stopped on the green is going to make a pit stop. There is the leader of the race, Lance Hooper, and Kyle Petty is in his pits. Kyle?
Yeah, I'm standing here in Lance Hooper's pits, and you're going to see it just like you saw on Kenny Schrader's car. This is something we don't see back on the East Coast much, and especially on oval track racing. They're going to change the rear tires. It's just like you guys have been talking all day long. They're buzzing those rear tires coming up off the corner. They're not really hurting the front end of the car that much. The front tires are not pushing the right front off or pushing the left front off. The car's stopped in the pit right now. They're jacking it up under the rear end housing. They're putting the fuel in. Schrader's team put 14 gallons in. They can go to the end of the race on fuel. This will be the last stop these guys need to make. So I mean, it looks ridiculous to see a car jacked up in the middle of the rear end housing of changing rear tires. But these guys, they got a good pit crew. They're going to send him back out, and he'll be back up there. But Schrader and them guys are still up front right now. Jerry?
Thank you, Kyle. Now, Brett Bodine, from your early days in modified, that's exactly what you guys used to do, right?
You know, we used to do that all the time. Change just the rear tires. In the modified division, with the 15-inch wide tires in the back, tire stagger, the difference in circumference between the right rear and the left rear, was very critical in how these cars handled. So that's why we would put a matched set of rear tires on. What's happening here on the road course, as Kyle said, they're buzzing the tires coming up off the corners. You know, when you get them down to second gear, that gear ratio is tremendously low. Very easy to spin the rear tires and chew the rubber right off. So they're just doing what they need to do to try to keep their car handling as well as it can throughout the race.
Well, everyone has made a pit stop that needs to make a pit stop, so they should be okay on fuel. And, of course, the tires have been changed. So now it's going to be a race to the finish as we are showing 30 laps complete. 20 remain here in the Budweiser 200. Beautiful afternoon for racing here at Sears Point International Raceway. Glad to have you with us. Back with the final 20 laps after this. Stay with us.
T-Plus, the engine treatment with DuPont Teflon, protects the heart and soul of your car. The engine. Without T-Plus, your engine faces a daily grind of dry starts, stop-and-go driving, freezing winds, and scorching heat. It's inhuman. But add T-Plus one time and your engine becomes a smooth-running all-weather power machine protected for up to 50,000 miles. So, beat the daily grind, add T-Plus. The T is for Teflon.
Yeah, you've seen it all. Done it all. Pretty much got it all figured out. But have you got what it takes to be a mountain man? All it takes are the two cool beers of the Mountain Man. Smooth Busch beer, easy drinking Busch Light. So, be a mountain man. All you gotta do is head for the mountains.
The world's greatest drivers fight disaster at every turn in a quest to qualify for the world's greatest race, the Indy 500 Time Trials, tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern on ESPN.
Back at Sonoma, California, Budweiser 200 continuing. Less than 30 laps remain here as the field continues. There are 18 cars still on the lead lap. And the car number 48 is being shown as our leader. That is Rudy Revac. And remember, he was among those half a dozen or so cars, Brett, that pitted back on lap 20.
No question, that early pit stop got him the track position they were looking for. Now can those guys that pitted early hang on to that lead and outrun the guys that pitted later. There's Ken Schrader at about third or fourth position.
He is up there. The car number 2 is there. Craig Rodman, the Redding, California driver, is there. As now the Ford pace car pulls away, and the blue and white numeral car number 48 right there is our leader, headed out of turn 12.
That number 21, he's on the tail end of the lead lap. He needs a caution so that he can come on around and join the field at the end.
Uh-oh, car going down through the grass. Once again, Yamashiro got together with Kenny Schrader going in that corner, and Schrader was able to keep his car straight.
That's Mike Coper and Ron Hornaday, the 97 and 79 battling back there. They are in 13th and 14th position. Here's a replay of what happened on the restart once again.
Schrader just trying to hold his line, and the 28 got on the inside of him. Good thing he made a sharp move to the left, because he could have taken Kenny Schrader out very easily on that first turn.
That was Ted Yamashiro, the Pleasanton, California driver, and he's finally got his car refired, the Executive Electric, minus some of the body work. Back on the course, but the leaders are up in front of Ed here.
Yeah, the 21 car still out front. He's hoping they'll throw a caution for that car sitting down there, but no indication here that there will be a caution. And so the car number 48 is the actual leader of the race. That is Rudy Reback with the car number 21 of Larry Park. Wants to get back to the start-finish line first, just in case they throw a caution.
Our AutoZone race summary, leader Rudy Reback. Car number 48 has led 2 of the 30 laps. There have been 3 lead changes among 3 cars. 18 cars on the lead lap, 4 cautions for 11 laps. That's why the average speed is just a little over 67.7 miles per hour. Lap leaders, Kenny Schrader has dominated this race, 27 laps. Lance Hooper has led a couple of times, and Rudy Reback currently leads. Out of race, Troy Beebe, Ron Esau, Herschel McGriff, Jim Engelbrod took that wild ride. Ernie Irvin has parked his car, and Jeff Rogers. Along with Bell, Laskowski, Peoples, Bob McGrew, Dennis Benstock, and Randy Olson.
And Jerry, that 28 car that we wondered about in case the caution might come out of the result of him being off track, he just went by here, so he got the car fired and hit it on around the racetrack.
I tell you what, Ned, Reback knows that Kenny Schrader is behind him because he's trying so hard to get in front of the, and he finally does get by the 21 car. Now he's put the 21 between him and Schrader and praying that will be enough distance, because the last time he came off turn 10, he got down on the grass, almost spun out leading the race. Down to turn 6, and they're going to be accelerating toward you in just a second.
Well, Schrader has to get by that 21 car now before he can get up to Reback. He has to come off of turn 6 and head this way. This is where Schrader has made a lot of time up coming into turn 7. But he's got a car coming up on the outside of him trying to make a pass. It's the pole sitter, Brian Germoni. He's trying to pass the 21 car. Did get around Schrader and has taken over second place. What a great move by Germoni.
Wow, Brett, what'd you think of that move?
Schrader just got boxed in by that 21. Couldn't make a move on the inside. The 21 moved over to block him, and neither one of them saw Jerome coming off on the outside. What an outstanding move to get around the outside of 2 cars in turn 7.
Brian Germoni now sets his sights on our leader as they head for turn 11.
And I tell you, they're coming down. They know that now is the time. We saw Reback out very, very wide. Germoni on the inside, a lower line coming through the corner. Looked like it neither advantage for either driver. But Germoni is, as he says, he's flying right now, Jerry.
Flying Brian, they call him. He has never won here at Sonoma Raceway, not far from his home. You take a look at our field summary, and you get to see where your favorite driver, Ron Hornaday, back in 10th spot. And there's Mike Coper, our preview driver, back in 14th. And still 18 cars on the lead lap, but it should be 17. Just a moment ago, they passed the car number 21. A road racer in his own right, SCCA experience. Car number 48, Rudy Reback in a rented race car, a Chevrolet Lumina owned by Ron Hornaday. Now Reback is an SCCA driver as he now goes sideways and spins, and Germoni is involved. These 2 cars, that doesn't help a lot, as they'll have a caution there down at the carousel. A stand as he waves the yellow flag, and Germoni and Reback. Now, what do you do now, Brett?
Well, I'll tell you, Jerome's taking a heck of a chance of backing up onto the racetrack with those cars coming over that carousel.
Almost gets spun out up here in turn 7. Pardon me, Brett. But he was trying to hold the 21 car off. The 21 car trying to get by him, knowing or thinking the caution was going to come out. And he hit Schrader, turned him sideways, but he got on through.
And now Schrader will lead him down toward Benny Parsons as they head down out of the S's in turns 8, 9, and 10. And he is in front of the car number 21, BB.
I'm speechless. I mean, I can't believe that. The leaders, the first and second place car spun. It looked like Germoni was trying to there, Ned, here's what you're talking about just a moment ago.
Yeah, Schrader got in the turn a little bit hot. He locked the right front brake coming in there. That's the first time we've seen him get in there too hard all day. And then you see the 21 car hit him, gets him sideways. Schrader gets it straightened out and stays ahead.
In the carousel, we just saw the 48 car Reback just got in deep and a little wide, lost traction with the back end, and the 5 was just avoiding him. He just was his victim of circumstances. He needed to spin the car to avoid hitting the 48.
Car number 21 was trying to get back when he is back on the lead lap. He has gone around Kenny Schrader. He might have thought there was going to be a full course caution, so there are 17 cars on the lead lap. The car number 21, and there is the yellow flag, we are told, and the car number 21 will get back on the lead lap.
Hey, guys, there's something wrong with that 52 car. Kyle or John, somebody in the fence might need to check, because I just feel like there's something wrong with the 52 car. He is not running nearly as fast as he was before the caution flag 5 or 6 laps ago.
Kenny Schrader being shown as our leader. Mike Seegers is the crew chief on that car. On Kenny, works for Kenny. His dad, Charlie Seegers, an engine builder for Hendrick Motorsport. Now, Timmy Kohuff, normally the crew chief, is back in Charlotte preparing their Busch car, and Kyle is there in the pits with the car number 48. Kyle?
The 48 car came down pit road, and as he got to his pit, the car stalled. I think he's got the thing hung in gear. I don't think he was able to get it in the neutral to come in, because he just stopped it. They had to push the thing backwards, and it just barely would. They're putting it up on jack stands. They've crawled up on I don't know what seems to be the problem with the thing. These guys are jamming them in gears left and right, about like we'll be doing tomorrow. But you know, they're going to try to get the thing out. He's not going to go a lap down. They seem to have it fixed by now. They're going to drop him and send him back out. Jerry?
Boy, I tell you, a tough break for Rudy Reback after the great run he had here. You got to wonder.
He got it fired, so he didn't lose a lap. Very fortunate. He dropped him back to 11th with a spin.
Hey, you got to wonder if Schrader is going to come down. You heard Benny Parsons.
And that's just strictly speculation on my part. The pits are closed right now. We see the red flag waving back there. I know, it just looked to me like Schrader was not running as well as he was before the...
Take a look at the car. I'm sorry, Benny. I just got to take a look at the car number 2 right in front of you, Benny. He started back in 42nd position. Dead last, Craig Roudman out of Redding, California, in a Cutlass. And he is now in 2nd place. That's the black car and white car number 2 there. What an excellent run for Roudman as he is up beside Kenny Schrader. And speaking of Kenny Schrader, I think Kyle Petty has been checking in their pits. Kyle?
Yeah. Kenny seems to think, like I said, these guys are jamming these cars in gears left and right. Kenny said he heard a noise. He can't tell whether it's the transmission or the rear end. He just eased up a little bit, was going to ride it out for another 10 or 15 laps, hopefully have the car ready, or hopefully the car would stay in one piece and he'd have something to race with the last 4 or 5 laps with him. So he did back off, like Benny said. It looked like something had happened to him. It had. He started hearing things in the car. He backed off. He was going to take it easy, Jerry.
And good ears, PP, down there. Apparently Schrader has backed off, and thanks, Kyle, for checking on that. We are under caution once again at Searsport International Raceway. Caution for the 5th time today due to an incident down in the carousel involving our 2 lead cars. Back with more from the beautiful wine country, the Sonoma Valley here in Northern California, right after this. Stay with us.
You know, at AutoZone, we know our customers work just as hard as we do. So we're open when they need us, at night and on Sundays. And since 2 million folks each week count on AutoZone for what they need when they need it, we're not about to let them down. That's why we carry so many parts and why we price them so low every day. You see, selling top quality parts at low prices every day is how we make a living. But helping customers, well, that's how we make friends.
Hey, Mike, hand me my channel lock pliers.
Tommy, give me that plier over there with the blue handles. What kind of pliers is that? These are channel lock tone and groove pliers. My dad uses them on his race car, too.
For the tough jobs and the small jobs, reach for Channel Lock, the handiest plier of them all.
Hey, guys, anybody seen the channel lock pliers?
Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock pliers. Look for this trademark.
At the end of the day, more top mechanics in America choose One Motor Oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline Motor Oil. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
Introducing the Valvoline Indy 500 giveaway. Call 1-800-444-INDY now to enter to win one of 3 1994 Camaros.
It still bugs me that I waited to try Old Spice High Endurance just because I thought all deodorants worked the same. Dumb. This proves it's the best. Better than the leading stick. It evaporates less quickly. It also lasts longer. Protects better. You can't ignore that. Or this guarantee. Try it. If you don't think it's the best, call 1-800-PROVE-IT, and they'll buy you a stick of yours. You gotta figure anyone that serious about deodorant deserves a serious shot. Come on, take the High Endurance Challenge from Old Spice. I did.
Back at Sears Point Raceway, the Budweiser 200. A lot of action on the racetrack, but a lot of action in the pits. And I mean, everybody's working on pit road. I mean, everybody. Right, Kyle Petty?
That's right, Jerry. Like I said, everybody's getting these things hung in gear. Kenny Schrader was hearing noises in his rear end and in his transmission. We got a man right here, my main man, John Kernan, that wasn't hearing anything. Do you think you're going to get this thing fixed and be able to get, you're about 10 or 15 laps down right now. You think you can get it fixed and get back out there?
Well, you know, Kyle, this ESPN golf cart was really running well today, and I knew if I just bided my time, I could make it to the front. But, you know, my crew chief right here, Gunny Birmingham, is working on it, and I guess, you know, our day to win the race is just over. We're just going to go out and run for points after we get it fixed.
Well, this thing looks like it's blowed up down here, and it looks like it's just one of those racing deals for John Kernan today, Jerry.
These guys are incorrigible. Trouble in the pits with our ESPN pit guys. And
I wondered why we hadn't heard from John Kernan in a while.
Yeah, John forgot to mention his sponsor, though. That's the only thing he's got. You guys got to work with him a little bit, you and Kyle.
You can tell he hasn't been a driver long.
He would get a phone call on Monday morning. Where's that hat? All right, we're still under caution at Sears Point International Raceway. Our leader is Kenny Schrader. We'll have more green flag racing after this.
When 280 seemed out of reach, it's Joe Amato and Autolite who punch it. The wall goes to 290. Connie Coletta and Autolite smash it. 300, the barrier. Kenny Bernstein and Autolite shatter it. Autolite and the record breakers. Wow, I feel good. We feel pretty good about that.
At the end of the day, more top mechanics in America choose one motor oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline motor oil. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
Introducing the Valvoline Indy 500 giveaway. Call 1-800-444-INDY now to enter to win one of 3 1994 Camaros.
The world's finest drivers in the world's fastest cars compete tomorrow morning at 9:20 Eastern in the Grand Prix of Monte Carlo. Formula One, the art of motor racing, only on ESPN.
Back at Sonoma, California, enjoying some exciting NASCAR Speed World Budweiser 200 racing action, but we have got lots of racing action to come your way tomorrow live at 3 o'clock Eastern time, noon Pacific, Indianapolis time trials, the 78th running of the famed Memorial Day Classic, the Indy 500, and who will be in the starting field. Qualifying continuing today up in Indianapolis, and I understand they have some weather. But tomorrow night, we have got baseball. Joe Carter leads the defending world champion Toronto Blue Jays in the Beantown to battle Mo Vaughn and the Boston Red Sox. That's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday Night Baseball. And, of course, we'll be here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time, live flag-to-flag coverage. The Save Mart Supermarkets 300 NASCAR Winston Cup racing action. Bob Jacobs will be on hand and all our crew. Kyle Petty and Brett Bodine will be driving, but we'll be watching here live at 4 o'clock tomorrow, right here on ESPN.
Ken Schrader, this is Brett Bodine up in the booth. Those two leaders spun out in front of you there in the carousel, and you're also hearing some noises in the car. What's the story with the 52?
Pretty good shape, Brett. I kind of banked
times, and it feels like Panhard bar's got a clamp bracket on it. Feels like it's loose, but it must not be. It couldn't run as good as it did. So we just changed 2 rear tires. You know, we ain't used to that, so it's got a different feel, and I just got to get smoothed up, go back to work.
Well, Kenny, sitting up here in the booth, have you got any tips for me since I didn't get a chance to run in this race today?
Yeah, when you come run this race, bring big, heavy wheels and steel bodies. It's a little rough.
Yeah, okay, I'll keep that in mind in case I decide to run the Southwest Tour anytime soon. Thanks, Kenny.
That is Kenny Schrader, our leader. We talked a minute ago about the car number 2 of Craig Rodman, who started back in 42nd position. Now, that's a very, very incredible story. Craig Rodman came here and did not have a motor. Now, why do you come to the racetrack and don't have a motor? They blew the only engine they had. They borrowed a short block, folks, and that's a block with the pistons and not much else in it, and assembled an engine on Thursday night in the back of a pickup truck here in the garage area. Put it in the car, said, we're going to try to qualify. He started back in 42nd, and right now, with a pickup truck put together engine, is all the way in 2nd place.
Kenny Shepard, this is Brett Bonine up in the ESPN booth. You're sitting in 3rd position. The car's looking awful good out there. How's it handling?
Well, Brent, we're doing pretty good. I got a little bit of a push right now. We've been fighting it all day long. Trying to take care of my tires, and now we're at race time. You know, working with DuPont Valvoline's been an honor for me, and to be up here, this is just a dream come true. I can't believe I'm looking at Ken Schrader through my windshield right now.
Well, you've had a heck of a run today, keeping that car out of trouble. With only a few laps to go, you're in real good position to try to get a nice, real strong finish out of that DuPont Chevrolet.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. It takes me about 3 or 4 laps to get some heat into these tires, so I kind of 4-wheel drift the car around here. So my theory, and I've just been trying to keep them off me for 3 or 4, and then I can move forward a little bit. So if I can do that, I think we'll be okay.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Kenny, and good luck the rest of the race.
Hey, it's an honor racing on ESPN. You can't believe this, buddy.
Tell you, Kenny Shepard is a nice young man, currently 2nd in the rookie point standings, and he has got a great opportunity. He was thrilled to be called by DuPont to get this ride for 1 race only, and he's making the most of it. By the way, we want to thank the fine folks from Racing Electronics for hooking up our radio hookup to all the drivers today. They came and hooked it up early this morning, and we got this hookup. So let's check in now with Mike Kofer, the car number 79. And Mike Kofer, this is Jerry Punch in the tower. Mike, how do we see our progress now with about 13 laps to go? How's the car running?
We're doing pretty good, Jerry. Last year I didn't make it this far, so it's all new experience for me, but I guess the car tends to wear out and get a little sloppy, and it's happening.
Mike, how much experience have you had on a road course?
We took the SCCA school up here and ran the race last year, and I did the Jim Russell school down in Laguna Seca, but not in stock cars, you know.
Mike, you were all the way up to 3rd spot before making the pit stop. You've had a great run. How much would winning the Rookie of the Year, I hear, mean to you?
It really mean a lot, you know. That was our goal, to try to be in the best position for the rookie at the, you know, whenever we had to leave. If football came along or at the end of the year, whatever it takes. That's our goal, to keep making races and try to get that rookie title.
Mike, best of luck to you to the finish.
Sure.
That's Mike Kofer, currently in 16th spot, former All-Pro kicker for the San Francisco 49ers. Currently back in 16th spot. Here's the car number 21. They're holding him, Brett, and they're going to put him a lap down. There was a little question as to whether he actually got his lap back when the caution came out.
He tried to get by Kenny Schrader before that yellow come out, but evidently he wasn't all the way by when the yellow was displayed. So consequently, NASCAR had to put him back in the correct lap, in the correct position compared to the rest of the field.
He would be one of 4 cars, 1 lap down, currently in 20th position. We'll be back with a green flag finish from Searsport International Raceway here in beautiful Northern California after this.
Tequila Dan serves Southwest and Mexican dishes for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Choose from baby back ribs, mesquite chicken, carnitas, tamales, enchiladas, and other Tequila Dan specialties. Wednesday is rib night. Get a full rack of baby backs for only $7.95. Thursday is taco night with $1 tacos and $1.50 margaritas. For great Tex-Mex in Carson City, it's Tequila Dan's, 3449 South Carson. Tequila.
The annual spring clearance is going on now at Streeter Imports, and every car and truck on the lot has been discounted. A 94 Ford F-150 4x4 loaded, $19,488. A 93 Toyota Paseo with warranty, $11,888. And an 89 Chevy conversion van, just $99,87. Save on these and more during our annual spring clearance sale at Streeter Imports. We're people serving people like you.
Streeter Imports.
Hey, Ken, they say that during the playoffs, things get so intense, guys just start acting kind of weird. Is that true?
No, that's not true.
Yeah. Hey, anyone see my stick?
Today's Speed World coverage being brought to you by the Valvoline Performance Team and by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. Take a look at our field summary here as Kenny Schrader, our leader. Craig Rodman, a great run. Kenny Shepard, rookie driver. We spoke to him a moment ago. What a super afternoon he's having in the DuPont Valvoline car. Trying to get an idea where your favorite driver is. There are 16 on the lead lap. 1 lap down, Kenny Boyd leads the 4 cars that are a lap down. And you see the drivers that have called it a day. M.K. Kanky in the car number 33 also out. Ernie Irvin parked his car number 8 for making a couple of early pit stops. If you just joined us, Ernie came in, had a problem with the floats in the carburetor with a borrowed engine and a borrowed race car, but he put on a heck of a fight in the early laps, making his way toward the front, but it came up short. 42 cars started, 16 cars still on the lead lap.
And I think we're going to see some green flag racing. It looks to me like the pace car, the lights are out. Elmo is pulling away from the field as Schrader comes off turn 11, and we see Elmo in the Mustang, and he's going to accelerate away from the field, and looks like we're going to go back racing. Thinking I'm getting bored.
Indeed, back to green flag, lap 40. 5-lap caution is over, and Schrader wastes no time in punching that throttle.
Schrader leading the field up into turn 2. Oh, the car got off in the grass, hit the 55 car, spun him around, and now the rest of the field's got to try to avoid him as they come up over the second turn. Oh, a big pileup.
Oh, a number of cars. Jeff Hill was the original car that was tagged and spun, the 55 car. Now the 28 is sitting there. That is Ted Yamashiro. He's involved. That's what's left of the car number 82. The right front fender has been peeled away. Dennis Benstock out of Napa, California. And the yellow flag is being shown to the field once again. Caution as laps are winding out. Here's what happened a moment ago, Brett.
Well, one of the cars tried to make a move up on the inside and just got off in the grass, and there's no way to turn the car at the top of the hill. The 77 car got into the right rear of the 55, spun him in front of the field. Then the guys in the back, trying to avoid all this, got together themselves before they ever got to the accident scene.
Different angle of what happened from a different camera angle. 77, the car, the black car is Kenny Peterson, and he does, as you said, Brett, tag the 55 of Jeff Hill. Good move by the car number 17, Randy Olson, to go to the outside to miss Hill. He could have hit him head on there. And can you believe the luck of the car number 48, Rudy Rivak, who was a leader early on, had a shot at winning it from Los Gatos, California. The road racer, the BMW SCCA road racer, and his day is over.
Well,
and we will take another break as we are under caution here at Sears Point. Once again, there's the carnage up in turn 2. Back with more road racing after this.
At the end of the day, more top mechanics in America choose One Motor Oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline Motor Oil. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
Introducing the Valvoline Indy 500 giveaway. Call 1-800-444-INDY now to enter to win one of 3 1994 Camaros.
Come on along and head for the mountains of Busch Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Busch Beer.
The hand on the left is waxing a car with an old sock. On the right is the Black & Decker Handy Buffer. It's 25 times faster and so easy, there's no excuse not to keep your car looking like new. It'll knock your socks off. The Black & Decker Handy Buffer.
People ask me to endorse the strangest things. A green recliner? Not much of a sitter. I like going fast. 68 Shelby. And there was only about 300 and some odd made. This car rips. Pure oil now. Keeping them up's half the fun. They all get Pure Later filters. Pure oil later. I snag them from the track. Legends live. Pure Later. Pure Later.
Back at Sears Point Raceway, and we are keeping the wreckers and the safety crews very, very busy this afternoon. Guys, take a lesson, Brett Bodine and Kyle Petty. We don't want to do that tomorrow during the Save Mart Supermarket 300, but I wonder how far a wrecker can go on a tank of fuel.
Well, I wonder how many toes he gets per tank of fuel. They have got to work out today. There has been some torn up race cars here today.
As they hook up to the carnage, the most recent incident, bringing out the 6th caution flag today, the car number 28. He has been the cue ball, bouncing off so many things today, and a tough break for Ted Yamashiro out of Pleasanton, California, his Ford Thunderbird. And remind you, coming up next, you'll probably join in progress the Tour de Pont, and what an outstanding final couple of stages that has been. That's the great cycling event. They ran down through western North Carolina on the final stages and up those mountains, and I was able to watch some of that earlier, our coverage, and it's incredible how those guys on those bicycles can climb straight up a mountain. You ever tried to do that, Brett?
No, I try to stay off the two-wheeled variety of vehicle.
Well, I bought a bicycle last year and tried it for about a half a mile, and after I huffed and puffed, I gave it up. And one wrecker pulls away the car number 28, and now Rudy Revac in that Rent-A-Racer. Hey, Benny Parsons, when you rented a car back in the early days and you bent one like that, did you have to pay for it?
I never did rent one, so I don't know. But I would guess that Revac spent some money because that left front tire, the car is headed east, the left front tire is going north, so that's damaged. So he's probably spent some money. I hope he's got a good job.
Well, Ron Hornaday has a race car building business, so and Rudy says, man, can you believe it? As he sits in the car waiting with what's left of his Chevrolet Lumina. Back with more from Sears Point Raceway. Great crowd on hand. Stay with us.
Americans have always had a love affair with their cars.
Who do you love? Who do you love? Yeah, who do you love?
And when it comes to plugs and filters, we guarantee to keep that spark going for a long, long time.
Who do you love? Who do you love? Yeah, who do you love?
At the end of the day, more top mechanics in America choose one motor oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline motor oil. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
Introducing the Valvoline Indy 500 giveaway. Call 1-800-444-INDY now to enter to win one of 3 1994 Camaros.
Well, back at Sears Point Raceway, we promise you we may have some green flag racing laps coming up very soon. We have 41 laps completed. It'll be 9 to go. And Kenny Schrader, Winston Cup campaigner, driving a Chevrolet Lumina at the head of the field. And Brett Bodine, let's see what Kenny's thoughts are.
Kenny, what do you think? You only got about 8 laps to go. This is Brett Bodine up in the booth. You think you can hold these guys off?
I don't know, Brett. I was a little worried that last restart. The thing felt good. The thing's really getting through the carousel. So if we can bluff them the rest of the way, we pick up a little bit of the carousel, we'll be okay.
That number 2 car there came from the last row in the field. He's all the way up to second, and Kenny Shepard's in third. Those guys are awful hungry for try to beat you to that checkered flag. I think you're going to have a real hard time holding them off.
Hey, Brett, I got that same problem that you've had lately. It's been a little while since both of us have been to Winter Circle, so it's not like I'm all filled up. We're pretty hungry over here.
I can understand that, Kenny. Well, good luck to you, and try to hold these guys off.
That's Kenny Schrader, our leader, talking with Brett Bodine, our guest analyst here. Last year we had Ernie Irvin in the booth. This year Brett Bodine is kind enough to sit in. And by the way, up at Watkins Glen on our Saturday show, we are Rusty Wallace will be our guest analyst in the booth, along with our 2 championship analysts that we always have, Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett. And of course, every Saturday we always have Kyle Petty down in the pits, and always enjoyable to have Kyle with us, and the Mellow Yellow sponsored driver.
Kyle, what happened to the beard?
Had to shoot a commercial this morning for No Fear and Mellow Yellow. I don't know, man. They just don't like the goatee look on me, I guess. I don't know what happened.
Oh, folks, you should have seen it. All right, here we go. Green flag.
Yeah, you'll see in the tease of the show tomorrow. Kyle had the Pink Floyd look down, but it's gone now. As we're back to green flag racing.
07 on the outside of Kenny Shepard going in that first turn, but Shepard shuts the door as they go into turn 2.
That's a battle for third spot. Lance Hooper in the 07. Kenny Shepard. Great run for the rookie driver in the DuPont colors, car number 95. One car off the course, car number 14. That is Stephen Portingay out of Reno, Nevada. Winner last year.
Looks like he's going to get his car back rolling again. Hopefully we won't go to a full course yellow.
You need to move it there, and he tries to get it fired. And here's what happened a minute ago to Portingay.
As they head up into turn 2, oh, he gets a little help from behind there and gets spun around.
Looked like a whole lot of help to me there, Brett. Uh-oh, Mike Kofer right in the back of the Portingay's car.
Now, Kofer's a place kicker. He's not a punter, but he punted that guy, Stephen Portingay, and he gets the car righted and headed back in the right direction. Mike Kofer being shown in 12th position.
And here's the spin up in turn 7. The car number 4 gets spun around. Dennis Dyer is headed in the wrong direction coming off of that turn. Another car caught him to the rear bumper and spun him around. Don't think there's any damage. He's just waiting for an opening. Yeah, he gets going there now. He was running in 7th place, but he lost a lot of position.
Benny Lance Hooper is taking a position away. He's taking the 3rd spot.
He's taking the 3rd spot away, and meanwhile, Schrader has pulled away by about 10 or 15 car lengths. There's a 55 car coming down through the S's, and Dennis Dyer is following him.
Well, here it is up in turn 7, and yeah, he definitely had some help. I couldn't make out the number on that car, Jerry, but he had help to get spun around there.
And he has gotten the car righted. There he is, Dennis Dyer in the car number 4, and a 55 car to the outside of him down in turn 11. Car number 44 has been black flagged by NASCAR. That's Bob Lyon. He was being shown in the 5th position. As you watch the car 07, Lance Hooper is just giving Rodman all he asked for up there, and he tries to make a move.
Rodman shut the door, but he's leaving the bottom open right there as the 07's trying to make a move through turn 5. We spoke to Kenny Shepard earlier, and he said his car didn't get going for a couple laps, and we saw it on the restart. He just could not hold off the 07. And now maybe his car's hooked back up, and he can go up there and fight for second place.
There's Schrader, our leader.
And he's building himself a pretty good lead, Jerry, as he comes into turn 7. He can drive this turn the way he wants to and the way he was driving it earlier. Here's where he's been making up a lot of time. Of course, the 2-car holds on to second. That's Craig Rodman. And pretty good battle from second back through about 6th or 7th place.
Yeah, Kenny Schrader would just back off the gas a little bit and back up to that 2-car. We'd have a great race going. But this is 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Now then we'll see if the 07 Hooper can outbrake Rodman coming down in turn 11. There the right-hander, turn 10. They're headed just towards me. Let's see. He's going to try it. He's on the inside. I don't know if he's got position or not. Yes, he does. Now it's a race off the corner, drag race down the start-finish line in turn 1, guys, right towards you.
They are side by side. Craig Rodman in the car number 2, Lance Hooper in the orange 07. And Hooper just jams the throttle, and up the hill he goes. He takes the spot away, so Hooper is now 2nd. And the car number 44, Bob Lyon, has just moved on the pit road. He was black flagged. He was running in the 5th position. He did make an entry on the pit road because of the black flag. There is Schrader, our leader. There is Hooper. There is Rodman. And then Kenny Shepard. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Back in 5th spot, the car number 97 is Ron Hornaday Jr. Behind him is Flying Brian Germoni in 6th position.
Shepard's working all over the back of the number 2 car, Craig Rodman. Like we said earlier, Shepard's car just won't get going after a restart. It takes him a couple laps to get some heat in the tires, and then he's okay. He's really putting the pressure on him now to try to get him back into 3rd position.
Well, let's see if he can outbrake him coming into turn 7 here. No, he's not close enough this time. Schrader drives around very smoothly here, but no position change on the front runners for turn 7. Everybody getting this real nice and clean here. And headed down towards you, isn't he?
Yes, as we can see on the screen, 6 laps to go. The question is, does Hooper have enough time to catch Schrader if his car is faster? Because Schrader, as he told us on the radio, he's trying to save a little something for just this moment. Now, here comes the 95 car trying to outbrake Rodman. Come down to turn 11 once again. Favorite place to pass. This time, not able to do it. Oh, and Germoni gets alongside 95 car. The pole sitter trying to take that spot away, but not able to do it. What up, Germoni?
Something's happened to Brian Germoni coming down the front straightaway. His car is just off the pace, headed towards turn 1.
There is Brian Germoni's car number 5, and he was battling for 4th position, trying to take it away from Kenny Shepard, and now the car seems to be coming back, but it's certainly not at all at full speed. Brian Germoni in the car number 5.
You wonder if maybe didn't he have a transmission problem earlier? He got hung up in 4th gear. Maybe he has a similar type problem now. He's still running, but not, as you say, not up to full speed. John Kernan, you know anything about that?
I just talked to Dana Stahl, the crew chief. He says the linkage broke. Remember, they had that transmission problem earlier. So he's just going to have to, I guess, nurse it around, or has he, in fact, pulled off of the track?
We don't know, John. We haven't seen him on the camera, but I would guess he probably pulled off the track over on the drag strip. Meanwhile, Rodman's still able to hold on to that 3rd spot. Admitting Lance Hooper is eating away a little bit at some of Kenny Schrader's margin. Looks to me like he is gaining just a little bit. Yeah, the 5 car is still going around. Meanwhile, Dennis Boyd goes by. Steve Portier. Tough break for Brian Germoni. I mean, after sitting on the pole here, having maybe the fastest car on the racetrack, with 15 cars still on the lead lap. There's the battle right there for 3rd. And something happened to the 95 car, didn't it? Did something happen to Shepard's car? Looked like Kenny Shepard suddenly stalled, and now he's just off the racetrack. Now he's almost... He's got a flat tire, isn't he? Got a tire going down. And very good pickup in Marshall. That Shepard's car suddenly slowed out of turn 11. Almost lost it in turn 12, and now he's had to back off, and he fights his steering wheel. What a tough break for a young man who's got one chance with a sponsor from DuPont and Valvoline, and this race car given to him a couple weeks ago to run one race to try to make a shot. Here's another car having trouble off the road course. Up in turn 2, that's the car number 82, and that's the efforts of Dennis Benstock out of Napa, California. 4 laps to go. And I will tell you guys that the pole sitter, Germoni, did drive to the pits when he came down the backstretcher. Going into turn 11, he went to the pits. There's Brian Germoni, the Honeywell-sponsored car. He's in the pits, and here's our leader, Kenny Schrader, working through the S's. Turns 8, 9, and 10. Behind him, Lance Hooper in the 07. Greg Rodman in the car number 2. And let's check in with Kyle Petty.
No, they say that he just ran off the racetrack, that he got it sideways. He jumped back on the racetrack. It took him a few seconds to get back, I guess, oriented on where he was at, and he's taken off again. So they seem to think there's nothing wrong with it. They're standing here on pit wall watching the race on TV. So they're having a big time down here in the pits, too. Jerry?
Thanks, Kyle. That's talking about Kenny Shepard, the car number 95 a minute ago. That was a report about Kenny Shepard's car. And now Shepard is being caught by the car number 97 of Ron Hornaday.
Hornaday's trying to get by Shepard to get into that 4th position. He's definitely making ground on him. I think Shepard's car, possibly the handles have gone away on the car that caused him to get off the race course, and he's just trying to cool it, keep an eye on the black stuff so that he can possibly hold off Ron Hornaday with only 3 laps to go.
You get a lot better traction on that black stuff than you do on the green stuff, huh, Brett?
That's for sure, Ben.
There's Kenny Schrader, the AC Delco Chevrolet Lumina, out of turn 6, and motors under the bridge up toward net.
Yep, Jerry's building himself up about a 3.5 to 4 second lead now. He must have heard you folks a moment ago when you said he thought the 07 car was gaining on him. I think he just picked it up a little bit and decided, well, let me build me up a little bit of a cushion here. Gets through this corner very, very smoothly once again. And now that lead is down to 3 seconds. It was 3 6/10 seconds when he was by here before. So the 07 car keeps the pressure on Lance Hooper.
Lance Hooper was a rookie last year and did not win. He won a couple of poles. Boy, what a win would mean to him today. But you heard Kenny Schrader, Benny, talk about how hungry he is.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Now, wait a minute. I haven't been to victory lane for quite a while. I'd like to go there and talk to you folks. As he comes down right towards me, makes the right-hander. Here comes Hooper. And Rodman, the black 2, is coming off the corner. So looks like these positions are pretty well stabilized right now. Looks like Schrader's looking in the rearview mirror and saying, okay, this is about the spot I want, about 3 seconds ahead of that 07 car.
As we spoke of, Ryan Hornaday got by the 97 car, has passed the 95 car, Kenny Shepherd, for a 4th position. Shepherd must be really experiencing some handling trouble. He was much faster than this earlier in the race, and now Hornaday, it looks like he's going to drive off.
Those 2 cars there, 4th and 5th, Hornaday and Shepherd. We might mention back in 6th is the car number 74. You see him just almost get airborne over it. Can you feel the car lift?
Oh, no question. You got to be careful of those curbings. Will really throw the car strongly off the racetrack, and Hornaday got away with a pretty bad one right there. He could have easily tossed his car off onto the dirt.
There's Hornaday in the car number 97, the 1992 and 93 Featherlight Southwest Tour champion.
Shepherd's not going to give up, though. He's still fighting back. He's got eyes and possibly getting back by Hornaday.
Yeah, he gained on him. Oh, he made a little bit of a slip there as he came off of turn 7. He picked up a good bit coming into the turn. Lost it going on. There's Schrader, all by himself, out front.
All by him.
This is real nice and smooth, Benny.
Yes, he does, Ned. Comes around turn 10, makes that right-hander coming towards me, and I'm sure he's just downshifting very pleasantly and tapping the brakes a little bit. Well, here he's probably hitting the brakes pretty hard. Makes that right-hander. He's coming down. What is this? The white flag he's coming down to, or 2 laps to go?
White flag, VP. White flag for Kenny Schrader. Exactly. The AC Delco Chevrolet. Doyle Ford waves as it goes by on a turn 12. Up the hill, the final lap. Mike Seegers, what a job he has done as the crew chief, standing in for Timmy Cohut, who's back in Charlotte getting Schrader's Busch car ready. Hey, Seegers did a pretty good job as a stand-in, didn't he?
Yeah, the second team might take over the first team's position after today.
Robert Hamke chassis, Performance Technology. Jim Michael out of Wakarusa, Indiana, the engine builder for Kenny Schrader. It's the same car he used to win the Copa World Classic in Phoenix back in the fall of '92. Exact same race car. He ran here and finished 3rd a year ago. Hoping to pick up his first victory in a long, long time. He's headed to you, Dad Jarrett.
And as he comes out of turn 6 and on this short straightaway, pretty high speed to get here and makes that little left turn and then starts veering down, gets down into 2nd place. Really has him a great line through this turn here. He maintains see what that lead is now as he comes by, a little over 3 seconds. I think, Benny, he's just sort of keeping it where he wants to. Keep that car in his sights back there. Don't let him get too close to put too much pressure on him. But Kenny Schrader is headed towards you and towards victory lane.
And towards victory lane, that's right. And, you know, some guys told me this is the only car in the field today with a Winston Cup-type chassis with a coil spring chassis. All the other cars, the springs go over the shock absorbers. They're called a coilover car. But Schrader went back to the old cars like he's used to in Winston Cup, and looks like it's working for him, guys, as he comes towards you.
And Kenny Schrader, Benny, will come out of turn 11. Lance Hooper, nothing to hang his head about. He will finish 2nd, and Schrader will take the checkered flag and win the Budweiser 200 here at Sears Point Raceway. Kenny Schrader, winner of the Budweiser 200.
And the 2 car, something happened to the 2 car coming off turn 11, and he loses that spot to Shepherd. Rodman had a problem coming off turn 11, and Shepherd passed him right at the start-finish line.
Last lap, can you believe Rodman had trouble? And now Kenny Schrader can relax and wave to the crowd. 38-year-old driver out of Fenton, Missouri, the AC Delco Chevrolet Lumina. And we'll come back in here from a very, very excited Kenny Schrader, a very hungry Kenny Schrader in victory lane at Sears Point. Back in a moment.
My truck has 99,000 miles on it, and it's like a brand new engine. America is talking about split fire.
I feel like I have a new engine.
No hesitation. You hit your passing gear, you're gone. Right now.
Split fire won a United States patent. It doesn't look like any other spark plug. It doesn't work like any other spark plug.
I love them. I have them on my motorcycle, my boat, and my car.
Love them. Love them.
Split fire at $5.99. America knows it only costs more till you use it.
I can say I've saved at least $3 to $4 a week.
Probably getting, I would say about 20 miles more per tank full, and that's a lot for me.
They'll pay for themselves, basically, in the first 6 months you own them.
Split fire. It only costs more till you use it. Here's another split fire breakthrough. Twin core wire sets with a dual firing path to every plug. More power and more mileage or your money back.
Back at Sears Point Raceway, Kenny Schrader making his way around the course toward victory lane. Here's a look at our top 10 finish. Schrader takes the win. Lance Hooper, outstanding effort in second spot. Ron Hornaday comes back to finish third. Kenny Shepard just nipping Craig Rodman at the line for fourth and fifth. Back in sixth spot, 6 through 10, Bob Lesnett, the road racer. Mike Kofer, how about that? A top 10 in his first ever road course start to complete the race in seventh. Stephen Portingay finishes in eighth spot. Veteran Roy Testa in ninth. And the 1993 Featherlight Rookie of the Year, Dale Williams, gets a top 10 finish. There's the AC Delco Chevrolet Lumina. Kenny Schrader, and you heard Kyle Petty and Brett Bodine and some of the drivers say that it is so important. It really is helpful to run this Saturday race to get some road course experience, and that's certainly got to pump Kenny Schrader up as he makes that hard left-hand turn. And he would like to make it 2 days in a row where he makes that left-hand turn and pulls into victory lane. We really want to thank Racing Electronics for the driver's communications today. We were able to talk to Kenny Schrader throughout the race, and Mike Koper and Ernie Irvin and some of the other drivers. Well, let's go down to victory lane where John Kernan is standing by with Kenny.
Well, after that long victory lap, Kenny has pulled it into victory lane. And Kenny, you told us it's been a while. Congratulations on the win.
I'll tell you what, I just want to thank my guys, all the ones that were here, and the group back in the shop, Timmy Cahuth and Jerome and them, Jimmy Horton. They didn't came out here. They just sent us out and said, do your best, and it ran good.
Now, Rick Hendrick told me you've got someone special that you're going to give the trophy to.
Yeah, one of Rick's employees out here is one of the dealerships, and she's fighting hard with some health problems, and this race for her.
All right, that's Kenny Schrader as he gets ready to climb out of the car, Jerry, with a win today.
Kenny Schrader will win today in the Budweiser 200. Remember, tomorrow, racing action coming your way live from Sears Point International Raceway. The Save Mart Supermarkets 300 front row has Ernie Irvin and Mark Martin, 2 Fords, as they will get set live 4 p.m. Eastern time right here from Sonoma, California. For Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett, Kyle Petty, John Kernan, and our special guest, Brett Bodine, I'm Jerry Punch, once again congratulating Kenny Schrader and saying so long from Sears Point International Raceway.